Hi guys. One of the videos that I've been most requested to do has been how I print things for my A5 planner. So I'm currently using a GM Louis Vuitton, which is the same thing as an A5. And I recently figured out how to print on my printer papers on the A5 size. And so for an example of some of these are, this is our homeschool Bible verse, which is Colossians 2:2-3. This is kind of our motto. So I found a really cool print online and printed that in an A5, so it's in my homeschool section of my planner. I created a schedule. Sorry, this is a weird angle for me to be filming. So I created a schedule for our semester with checks, so I knew what week we were on for my younger kids and my older kids, and what was going on. So I have that. I'm sorry if the light's changing. I don't film in my office very often. This is one I made up for next year. I just made notes for myself on what I've done. These are our tax deductions. I created that on an A5. And the way I got this paper is, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I have several Filofax originals. And I just took all of the blank paper inserts out. You can purchase blank paper on Amazon. You can also, I think, purchase it from the Filofax website directly if you want, just the blank paper. But this, for example, is our curriculum sheet. I don't know. Let me try this real quick. Let me turn on that. There, is that better? Okay. So this is like our curriculum sheet that I use for shopping to buy our curriculum. And I just printed this up and printed it out on the Filofax A5 paper. So I was going to try and show you guys how I do that. So I use a MacBook, and I have created a template for this, but I'm going to show you just how to create one in Pages. I know that in Word you can do this as well, but I don't know how. So I'll show you what we do in Pages, and then hopefully if you tinker around with Word, you'll be able to do it. So I open up and I just choose a new document, and you hit a blank document and you open it. Now on Pages, I'm trying to make sure you guys can still see this. Over here you have a document page, and it'll say printer and paper size. What I have found is you switch it to any printer, and then when you hit other, you can actually go up and choose A5, and then it sizes your paper to A5. Now, if you decide you want to make this a template, which I did do, you go under, I gotta find it real quick. I think it's under File. Save as a template right here. So you could set up an A5 paper and you can create a template from that. So what I've done in mine is I actually created, I gotta find it. Let's just go to Documents. And then I have a file of A5 items right here. Double click. Everything in here is sized for A5. I've created, I've gotten some things from the Planner Spot that I've downloaded and fixed, and these were like a year at a glance. I did our fall schedule. I created a back and a front. One of the things that you will have to do is I set up my A5 paper, and here's, I wrote all the notes down. So on this sheet where I did my fall schedule, this is 0.75 from the edge, sorry, right here. And then this is 0.25 from the edge. This works when the holes are on the left, and then I created a back page where it's 0.75 on this side and 0.25 on this side. So I just create things that'll fit on one page, and then I do a front and a back. So I did a Bible study plan, for example, and I just numbered them. And Bible plan 1, I don't know why that's, okay, I'll fix that. But anyway, Bible plan 1 would be the first page, and then the second page were the next. And so I did this for a sheet. It took me 5 pages that I could track reading the Bible, but I would only have to print 2 pages front and back. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So what I do is on this particular sheet, I would take my document and I would remove the footer. I would make the top probably 0.75, bottom, I usually do 0.25. The right side is going to be 0.25 and the left is going to be 0.75. Now I've got it set up where it should print perfectly. So let's see, what did I want to do? The thing I had found, and of course I left my A5 open. Hold on one second so I can turn back to February. I had found some Bible verses for marriage that I thought, ooh, this will be cool. So I could do that. You can still play with your fonts and change things around however you like. I particularly like a handwritten font as much as possible. So I do verses for marriage, and then the first verse that it recommended was Peter 4:8. And then I would just type in the verse and go from there. And then I'm going to have to switch angles to show you how to print. But you would type your document up. I always recommend print it on cheap printer paper first. See if it lines up with your page. And then I always keep an extra A5 sheet in my planner to print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off for a second, type this up, and then I'll come back and show you how I print. Okay? Just give me one second. Let's see. Focus. 1 second. Okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I just wanted to show you really quickly. I typed my verse. I picked a font that I liked. And then I'm going to turn the camera and show you what I do to print. My printer is an Epson printer. It's a WF, which I think means Workforce 3520. And when I flip the camera around, I'm going to show you what I do to make that work as best I can. But yeah, so all you have to do is go into Documents, change it to any printer, and select A5, and it will size it to A5. Like I said, make sure that you check out your, do a test print on regular paper and line it up. I have noticed with Filofax, for example, this paper here is from YellowPaperHouse, and this is Filofax, and they both say A5. And as you notice when the camera goes in focus, sorry, this is such a weird angle to film at, and it won't focus. Why won't it focus? Give me just a second, guys. Sorry. There we go. You can see that there's a okay, maybe it's because there's my fan. You can see there's a difference here. So test print. I noticed when I pulled the Filofax pages out of my original, and maybe if I just move it, it'll focus on the screen. Okay. When I moved out of my original, some of the papers were narrower than others. Again, I don't know how to take for that. So just kind of play with it, do a test print, and then you can kind of see where you're at with that. So give me 1 second. I'm going to move the camera and show you what I do at my printer. Okay guys, so here's my printer. This is my Epson. Let me wake it up. Okay, so I'm going to print a page real quick from my computer. I'll be right back. Hold on just 1 second. And I'm going to print it on my regular printer paper first. There's my A5 paper sitting on top, and I'm going to show you what I'll do next. This is so hard to do because I'm not used to being behind and in front and all that. Okay, so you see how it came out. And then what I can do is I can see how it's going to line up on the page. This is going to work. It's going to be a little bit close to the edge, a little closer than I would like. So I'm going to make an adjustment real quick, and then I will be right back. Just 1 second. Okay, so I did make a slight adjustment. I don't think you're going to be able to see this on camera, but when I compared it and I kind of lined up where I think the lines are going to go, it was coming too close to the edge of my paper. So I made a quick adjustment and switched the right margin just a little bit in. And then what I have to do, Sorry, I'm trying to flip my camera screen around so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so when you put your A5 paper in, the way this works, there is a paper slot in the back here, but whenever I've used that, it has not come through correctly. So I played around and figured out that if I take my paper out, in the bottom of my paper tray, and you're probably not going to be able to see this, but in the bottom of the paper tray, it actually has an A5 mark. So I just move my paper to my clips to that mark, and you also can move this in as well to A5, and you should see marks on your papers. The way mine prints is it does print face up. So what I do is I just put my paper in, and like I said, there is a little bit of variation. So just sort of, you know, go with the flow on that. I just put it to where it's right there, and hopefully this is going to work. We push it in, pull it back out. Let me hit print real quick. And hopefully this will work the right way. But I found that when I put it in the back and did the feed slot back here, it just didn't work as well. And then when I printed it out, here you go. Everything's printed on the paper exactly where I wanted it to be. And now I can stick this in my A5 or my GM in my case and use it. So this really is nice because once you figure out how to do this, you can create documents that you need. If you have schedules or calendars or Bible verses you want to memorize, or a list of books you want to read and you want to create a chart. This gives you a little bit of flexibility. There are some amazing inserts out there, but sometimes you want something customized just for you, and you know, some of these shops, because of the volume of business they do, they're not able to create those things exactly the way you want them. So for example, with this, I could print it out on regular paper and I could cut it down and I could really mess with it and try to get it, or I can use my computer and print it up. This has been a real game changer for me, especially for my homeschool stuff, because now, you know, there's not a lot of homeschool inserts. I can now create inserts for myself that work, and most of the time it's just a simple document, you know, creating the calendar, for example, or any of the other things that I did. So if you have any questions or if there's any further help I can do, please let me know in the comments below. I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.